Okay, I wanted to show a quick video on how to install a WordPress installation locally on your computer. Online with different hosting options, they give you all kinds of ways to do a one-click install, but I think it's important to understand what's going on in the background and also for your own development environment. So when you're wanting to develop your own themes, it's good to have something locally so you can quickly make changes and see how it responds, rather than having to upload them to the server every time and look at them that way. So first off, you need to get a copy of WordPress.org. That is very different than WordPress.com. WordPress.com is a website that will host and do everything for you, but it doesn't actually give you the control and customization that WordPress.org gives you. So go ahead and hit Get WordPress and download the version, and I've got a version of 5.6 right here, and I'm going to go ahead and open that back up. And in a previous video I showed you how to install a MAMP server, which allows you to view PHP files locally on your computer, and WordPress is built on top of PHP, so we need to have a local MAMP running. And again, I'm on a Mac, but you can run something like this on Windows. So I'm going to go ahead and start my MAMP, okay, and we're running Apache, and I have my directory underneath applications called MAMP and htdocs, and this is where the files are going to go in here, and if we want we can delete this or we can do something, but let's go ahead and look at this WordPress directory. And this all looks great, and we're going to take that whole directory and we're going to dump it into that htdocs file. Now, once we pulled this up, you can see we've got some options to look at PHP and MySQL, which we're going to have to use, and some credentials there. Let's first off just go look at our local host. Okay, so if we pull up localhost, it's just going to pull up this index.php file here, right? And so we want to say /WordPress, and this is going to bring us into the installation. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and we're going to need a database name, a username, a password, a host, and a table prefix if you want it. And so back here you can see we have the host, port number, username, password, and a lot of that information we're going to need. And what that's going to do is it's going to edit this file called wp-config, and we can take a quick peek at it. And in here it's going to place your database name, username, password, and everything like that. It's going to fill out this authentication key, which is great, and basically fill this file with everything it needs, and then it will rename it a wp-config.php and get rid of this sample. So I'm going to close that right now. We'll come back here and let's go. What it wants is a database named WordPress, your username and your password and your database host. So we can get some of that information, username and password, right here. So we're going to go put in root as a password. Root is that, and now we don't have a database set up quite yet. So let's go do that. So underneath MySQL, you can see how we can administer to our database using this PHP myadmin. And so we're going to go ahead and click on that and open this up. And this is where we're actually looking at our database and what's all in here. So we're going to go ahead and hit new. And we want to create a new database. And we could call it that same WordPress if we want. We could call it something new, maybe mytestdb. Okay. And I'll create that, and that looks good, and it's going to fill it full of some tables, and just make sure privileges, the root has access to all those, and I think we should be good there. Okay, so I'm going to put in my database name, and it's got to be exact. Okay, mytestdb, I've got all lowercase, and we've got a database localhost, and we'll go ahead and submit that. And so now it's going to communicate with it. We'll run the installation, and it looks like things are going good so far. So my test website, okay, And normally I don't like to use admin. I mean, that's going to be something that is guessed on a regular basis by different bots. Not that this is going to be a problem because we're running locally right now, but it's a good habit not to do something like that. And so, I could type out, like an email address or something like that. I'll say mcurl right now, and I'm going to do just a dumb one. We'll do a little let me in, confirm use of it, mcurl@gmail, and until your site's ready to go, you probably shouldn't have it indexed quite yet, because you don't want people finding it if it's not ready. Okay, so we'll go ahead and install WordPress right now, and it looks like it got done. And now I'm going to go ahead, and it's going to bring me to the login page, and I can type out mcurl as my username or my email address, and that let me in, ! And now I'm on the back end of my site. It's also probably a good idea at this time to go ahead and update all plugins and all themes if you can. So I'm going to go to updates, and I'm going to update all the latest themes that are installed, and you can see it downloading those and installing them at that point. And you should probably go ahead and update any plugins or older versions of those right now that are on there. Now, to view it, you can just right click on my test website, and I'll open up in a new tab, and you can see here's the current version of the site. I might want to change that, so I'm going to go into themes, and let me activate 2019 or something like that, and you can see when I refresh it how different that looks. And you can go look for new themes. We can see what's popular and install other things. We can go to our pages, and you can see we have the sample page. A couple other things you're probably going to want to do right away. Underneath general, you can see how it's using our localhost :8888. That's fine because we're testing locally. But I also like to go to reading and change it from my latest posts into a static page. And I'm going to change my home page to be a sample page. I'm not going to do anything with my posts right now, and go ahead and do that. So now when I come back here and I refresh it, you can see the sample page came up, right? And now I can go underneath pages, and I can go edit that sample page, and I have my editor here, and I can edit whatever I want and hit update. Welcome to my page, right? And I can update that, and we'll come back here and refresh it, and you can see how that changed on the site right now. So again, this is just how to set up a local copy, how to log in, how to view your work, and it's not really showing you a whole lot about WordPress right now and how to utilize it, but it's a really easy way to get it locally, so you can now change underneath your WP content and themes file. You can see we have those different themes in here, and now we can edit these if we so choose, or delete them. Like maybe 2021, I'll delete that off. And now when we go back to my appearance and themes, that 2021 is now gone. 2020 I could delete right there if I wanted to, and just kill that. You can also find your plugins in here, and those are underneath your plugins and installed plugins. You can see I've got this Hello Dolly and this anti-spam, and maybe I'll delete that hello, and there's that anti-spam plugin right there. But now when I refresh, you can see that Hello Dolly's gone. You can even go in and play with your plugin editor if you wanted to as well, instead of here. And there's also a theme editor if you want to mess with that in here. But really you want to be editing your files over here in an editor and not doing WordPress's editor. It's kind of a dirty way about going about it. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it helped you out and learn a little bit more how to install WordPress locally and kind of play around with some of its files.